Thanks, Mike. All right, so the next thing up on our little agenda is that we do a book talk. We do this every month, and we kind of pick one of the books that we have in our collection, and one of the Malvern staff talk about it. So I'm the lucky one tonight. And I'm Becky Garcia, I'm the manager here. And I'm going to be talking about For Mr. Raindrinker. It's by Ken Fontenot. And he is a local poet and novelist. Raindrinker is a funny and crazy meandering journey that follows Cajun New Orleans native Kent Swallow through his post-college career of job hopping and girlfriend seeking, with a stint in a mental institution thrown in for good measure. It's a series of stories all told in first person, whether they're Kent's stories or those told to him, in a very loose chronology. And through it all, there is his friendship with a balloon animal maker, Mr. Raindrinker. The thing that's so engaging about Kent is that he continues to surprise you, for better or worse. In addition to his Cajun French, he speaks German, he writes poetry, he's drawn to learn more about biology, how RNA codes for proteins. He memorizes maps and bartenders' drink books. He is by turns scrupulously honest and fairly kind, and offhandedly rude to the point of cruel. And it's all set amidst a New Orleans way before Katrina, way before any new gentrification, the New Orleans of the 70s. One I remember from early trips with my family, it was a rare and wild animal to us of the staid San Antonio. It was shocking and surprising and incredibly different, and we did love it. So this takes me back to that and memories of it. Even then, there were street artists and performers, which brings us to Mr. Raindrinker. Let me read you a little bit of this. An almost cloudless day into whose blue one's joy ascends. Walking down Decatur Street, I can see the tops of a few ships tied up along the Mississippi River. Only enough money in my pocket to have a cafe au lait and beignets among the tourists. Here I first run into Raindrinker as he folds balloons for kids near the Café du Monde. He's wearing a clown suit and a painted face similar to Clarabelle's, which brings to mind the Howdy Doody show of the 1950s television. Clarabelle's hair coiffed in that funny clown style, unruly and probably flaming red. One kid, plump as a Christmas turkey on the table, asks for a giraffe, and Raindrinker, with all his powers, makes one in an amazingly quick minute or so without even bursting a balloon. My talent is doing impressions of famous personalities, but this balloon folding is a skill I have long admired. When he does his twisting, you can hear the noise of balloon against balloon, a squeaky sound as if made by mice. All those standing around applaud and say, "Yeah," the minute Raindrinker hands the kid the giraffe he has just given birth to. His tip jar is loaded with ones and fives. Tips are all he asks for. Raindrinker holds up a sign that says, "That's all, folks, for now. See you again soon." I linger while the crowd disperses. A flock of pigeons flutters up and circles around both Montalba apartments. Raindrinker's eyes lock onto mine. "Would you like, say, a doggy balloon? A dachshund, maybe, for your son or daughter?" "No, thanks. I was just standing here admiring your art." "Thank you. Where are you from?" "Oh, I'm a local boy. Turns out we both went to the same high school on St. Claude Avenue near Industrial Canal. However, he was 5 years older, class of 1960. He tells me everyone calls him Mr. Raindrinker, a sort of nickname. He says once as a boy, he put a glass underneath a rain gutter spout during a shower, drank it, and his father said, "That's a good idea, a Raindrinker." The name stuck, first with his family, then with all his friends. I ask him if he has a favorite watering hole. "Yeah, the Rusty Nail in the Carrollton area." "I go there a lot too," I say. "Good live music on the weekends, women to dance with, and booze at reasonable prices. Maybe I'll run into you down there," he says, packing his equipment. As we read, we learn that Kent has some strong opinions. One that emerges multiple times is his feeling about the beast that craves attention, that consumes his own attention in his father's home where he resides. This is the day of heavy telephone landlines that you rented, not owned. And even knowing this, one day his growing enmity overcomes his good sense. As for the telephone, I'm still sick of it. That hermaphroditic beast that craves for attention always by sounding its distress call of bells. Yes, the telephone wants to be rescued again and again. You can almost hear it cry wolf with each ring. By the time it has rung you wrong for the 6th time in an hour, it has become a liar and a cheat. Case in point, my brother's future wife has called 6 times this morning, getting me out of bed and sweet dreams each time. It is Saturday morning. They live together in Porges, Louisiana, about 20 miles from here, and he comes home on the weekend. This woman calls him 6 times, not even giving him a chance to get home. Every call, is David there? Tell him it's important. Tell him to call me. I'm tired of this psychotic bitch waking me up, and on the 7th phone call from her, I can't hold it any longer. I have to raise my voice and say, would you please quit calling here? And slam down the phone. I am convinced telephones belong to lonely, weak people. People afraid to get in their cars and walk over to a neighbor's house and simply knock. People who can't live unless they have instant gratification. But enough preaching. I know I'll have to answer to my father for this because it's his phone, but it's something I must do. My father has a sledgehammer in the garage. I get it. I take the telephone out onto the brick patio in the backyard. My 2 dogs are barking. They see me raise the hammer. They sense my anger, run around to the other side of the house. They somehow, it's time. Somehow this whole thing is even a challenge. Like making the bell ring with a hammer at an amusement park. Here my only prize will be peace of mind. I let the hammer fall 3 times. And now I feel like the first pioneer who drove a stake where his house would be built on the prairie. The bell on the phones ring as I smash it. Pieces of plastic, thousands of them, fly in 1,000 different directions. The next day, my father asks what's happened to the phone. It's not in the room. I don't know, Dad. It must have exploded or something. The conversation doesn't end there. It's sad, sad. And of course, there's Kent's ongoing search for a girlfriend, or mourning the loss of a girlfriend, which brings us back to Mr. Raindrinker. I'll read one last passage on here about Mr. Raindrinker. It's been a long week. I need a beer and someone to talk to about losing Annette. Guess who pops into my mind? Raindrinker. As I expected, he's at the rusty nail again. Raindrinker says, I was summoned today for possible jury duty. There must have been 20 people waiting to be questioned by attorneys for a criminal case. They paid you $3 whole for the afternoon. But I specified on my form that my $3 go to the Parish Child Welfare Board. A noble gesture on your part, my good man. He continued. It was a second offense DWI. The prosecutors and defense attorney asked us a bunch of questions about what we thought the law meant when it said willful and wanting drunk driving, and would we trust a cop's testimony, and so forth. I felt a part of something our forefathers gave us. Since I didn't want to run for office, one way to participate in representative government, I could also either vote or be a jury member. But I told the defense guys there is a pattern of behavior I see in my uncle's drunken driving that he would never give up. So I'm sure because of that, having a bias against drunk drivers, I was not chosen. Also, get this, the attorney asked if we thought just one drink would impair our driving ability. And I said, I don't know, is it a double? And laughed, which drew a couple of laughs from my peers, but didn't seem to go well with the attorneys, who kind of frowned. As the years pass, Kent floats from one job to the next, reconnects with one old friend and the next, and all by a series of stories that'll either make you laugh or shake your head. He's drifting, but he's observing and writing along the way. And at the end, he's forced to make a change that we sense might shake him out of his drifting, or perhaps just pave the way for yet another series of engaging stories. This is really a beautifully written novel, filled with lovely turns of phrase and insights that take you aback and make you reread them. And the book gets even better on a second read, when you have time to savor the phrases and sense the poet's eye that Fontenot brings to the writing of this story of the life of a sometime crazy Cajun in the New Orleans of the 70s. Thanks.